All right. Good talking to you, Rahul. Thank you very much for sharing your perspective and some light on some of the consumer stocks there, both on the FMCG staple side and more of the urban discretionary side. Well, by the way, that's news getting confirmed, and that was a CNBC news break, CNBC TV 18 news break that you first heard of, that indeed that block that we saw in the morning was promoters offloading a part of their stake, and that's how much they've sold, almost 21% today. Perhaps now in absolute compliance with the regulatory requirement, we will try and get you more. So, okay, it's brought the shareholding down to, I think, 62% of that flash, if I could read it correctly. So the RBI norms, of course, say that shareholding has to come down to 40%. We'll just get...
From 60%, I think, to 40.
Yeah, so now they've come down to 61% from the highs of 82, Anuj. So I guess still some room to go, but we'll just get the numbers up for you. We'll get Nimation as well. So now I think they're down to 61, if that flash was right. But we'll just reconfirm all the numbers and get back to you on that. If Deepak is with us, Deepak, since we were talking consumer, just a quick take, whether you would prefer to add discretionary in your portfolio now or still stick with tried and tested FMCG staples?
So yeah, I mean, discretionary wise, I think auto continues to be one of the elements in our portfolio. We're long Hero and Maruti, for instance, and I think this will develop over the next 1 or 2 years. But I believe the comeback over here is going to be quite strong. See, every time when a sector goes out of favor for a considerable period of time, you find that nobody wants to talk about it because most likely nothing will ever happen. But even at the peak of sales, India was selling as many cars per month, roughly around, or a little bit more than perhaps France is even now, and it's a saturated country. We of course we got much more sales in bikes, but the level of personal mobility ownership in bikes is still got a lot of room going forward, and you've got to concentrate at the lowest end. That means purchasing power is at the lowest end. That's where I think I want to concentrate on in discretionary.
All right, Deepak, we leave it there today. Thanks a lot for joining us. Yes, that's what I was saying, because as per the BSC filing, it was already 60. In the last tranche, it had come down. So already was about 60%. So now I think it gets further reduced to less than 40%.
So now they would be in the clear, Anuj, I guess, from a regulatory standpoint.
For the I think next foreseeable future, I think they would have to still cut it down further later on. But for now, I think as per the timeline, I think they would be fine. So to cut it down to about 40%. I think the RBI has given staggered timelines to some of these banks to reduce the promoter stake. So in that, we saw Uday Kotak as well, for example. He had been selling his stake in line with the RBI requirements. Let's do one thing. We will take a break. We'll come back. We'll keep tracking Bandhan, and of course, we'll get the BTSD calls from our technical experts.